Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What are your thoughts about the resurgence of the Black Panther Party in response to the actions of ICE agents? Overall, it's a reminder that when people feel the system isn't protecting them, they often revive old models of self-reliance. The only way Republicans will start to care about political violence in a real way is if they start to feel like they might be the targets, not the perpetrators on a regular basis. It's how we got the last round of gun control, or you start messing with their money. It's always about money and power. The Black Panthers tested like 500k people for sickle cell in the 70s. Local, self-funded medical care. They provided breakfast for countless kids. And the government absolutely murdered their leader for his efforts. They were accused of indoctrinating said kids who just wanted something to eat. So yeah, all for it. Local organizations could learn a lot from them. Edit, I'm talking about the original Black Panther Party, obviously. I wasn't even aware of a new, though unaffiliated, variation. Is the new org the one going through a resurgence? Who is resurging? If it's the original organization, which has been defunct since the 80s, hence my associating them with a resurgence, then that's great. If it's some weirdo group with the same name, man, I don't know. Edit 2, there's at least one group with a similar name that is not the hate group responding to ICE treachery. https://www.yahoo.com/news/articles/philadelphia-chapter-black-panther-party-1640065.6.html. I haven't found anything pointing to the NBPP responding to ICE at all. I love that we got free breakfast and lunch programs in schools because Nixon was mad that the Black Panthers were taking care of kids better than the government. We also got gun control because of the Black Panthers. The assault weapon ban was a direct result of, those black people have guns and we need to stop that. The Black Panthers used TUA the way it was intended to be used. A government should be afraid of their people. Current admin needs to be retaught that fear. A government should be afraid of their people. Current admin needs to be retaught that fear. Full score, thank you. Protests, non-violent actions are meant to be a warning. Like, hey, if you guys don't change things soon, this is gonna escalate. One of the things most people don't know about the Black Panthers is their actions relating to traffic stops in Oakland. The Oakland police were notorious for pulling over black drivers. These incidents often led to violence by the cop, which would then result in jail time for the driver. The Panthers put CB radios in the cars. Whenever they got pulled over, they called it out on the radio. Other members would come, park where they could see what was happening, then get out of the cars holding their rifles or shotguns. They were observing to make sure nothing untoward happened. They never once used the guns or threatened the police. Oddly enough, there were fewer incidents of black drivers getting beaten by cops and thrown into jail. It sucked that that's what they had to do. Maybe we need to do some of that again. It sucked that that's what they had to do. That's the main takeaway from this. We're at that point again, and it sucks. Do I like the idea of needing civilians to be out with open carry? No, of course not. I would prefer people not waste their time being in groups of open carry to protect citizens. But, if that is where we are at, then so be it. That's why we have such options. What really sucks is many states do not allow open carry. I'm all for protecting people from mass shootings. At the same time, we need to be capable of protecting our states from such things. Democrats may need to get an eye-opener for their elections. Stop trying to aim for things that we need to protect us. Sensible laws need to be sensible in the future always. Protecting children is important, but now we can't protect children from ICE. I don't have an answer to it, but sucks for non-open carry states in the future. Democrats need to get an eye-opener for their elections. You are completely missing the point. Electoral politics isn't saving anyone from anything, so an alternative is required and necessary. Dems, reps, and the police state they uphold, exist to protect private property and the wealth of the owning class. Police don't protect communities. People do, and the re-emergence of the Black Panthers demonstrate this perfectly. These incidents often led to violence by the cop, which would then result in jail time for the driver. Importantly, these incidents also often led to the civilian being killed by the police. At the time, OPD was notorious for shooting and killing black men and making up stories about them attacking them or otherwise resisting arrest that went flagrantly against all available evidence. They did this because the DA repeatedly refused to investigate these killings, even when families came to them with proof that the cops were lying. It was one of these incidents that spurred the creation of the neighborhood patrols. It's also important to note that extensive leaks of classified documentation showed that the FBI listed the Black Panthers as the single greatest internal threat to national security towards the late 60s and early 70s. Not because of violence, though. It was because they were building a coalition of support with a message that was drawing increasing support from middle-class white Americans. For several years, the FBI's mission was to discredit, disrupt, and destroy. They conducted extensive operations to drive public support away from the Black Panthers, with agent provocateurs doing everything from inciting violence to handing out coloring books encouraging black people to kill police officers. They also collaborated with multiple regional police departments to conduct illegal raids on homes of party members and Panther officers. They targeted party-free medical clinics in particular, raiding them simply to destroy equipment because the FBI had explicitly noted that the clinics were dangerously effective at developing public sympathy in local communities. Even today, the vast majority of public opinion about the Black Panthers is shaped not by their actions, but by the actions of the FBI to prevent the public from knowing what the Panthers actually did and stood for. True story: they didn't consider the Black Panthers the greatest threat of their time because of the patrols. It was their successful free breakfast program for all kids, among the other things they did to help. You mean a well-regulated militia? One would think the NRA would be 100% in their corner. Not if you've paid attention to how corrupt they are. They went bankrupt a while back due to much of their funds being embezzled. I approve. Everyone else sees what ICE is doing and thinks it's a new low. But it's not. We've seen this song and dance before. I'm glad there are people out there who know it takes two to tango. I'd rather see Black Panthers with assault rifles walking down my street than a single ICE staging vehicle. Another case of history repeating itself. Over and over and over. Another piece of history that's repeating is how well Germany fared in Russian winter and how well ICE fares in MN winter. I guess if they knew history well they wouldn't want to be Nazis. Absolutely. Tiny note, they're falling down on ICE due to the MN winter, not me winter, unless they're in Michigan too. They may well be. This is nothing but free men and women exercising their Second Amendment rights. Most gun control initiatives in history have been to disarm minorities, and even to this day are mainly who are affected and arrested by policies that undermine the Second Amendment. I just see Americans expressing themselves. And all white people who support this should also go open carry alongside the BPP. Reminder that they're not alone, and it's not just minorities that they're going to have to try to disarm. Fuck up their optics. I think it was inevitable that this was going to happen. If the police and FBI won't do their jobs, then it's up to the people. Though I just hope it doesn't get out of hand and cause things to get worse. I hear ya, but they're already dragging people from their homes and killing innocent civilians. It's beyond out of hand. There's really only one way out from here. Nobody with power will choose to do the right thing. The Black Panthers did good, necessary work. Food programs, after-school care, and more. Everyone else's advice is, let the president's masked thugs hurt you, take video and hope that we'll be able to bring him to court at some unspecified later date, so someone actually doing something intended to keep people safe is a welcome thing AFAIC. Not necessarily a resurgence. More like they got some press due to Nazis coming into power. They have always been around. Nobody cared till now. Very, very true. I think the real answer is that they have been around, but in a mostly inconsequential capacity after being systematically dismantled in the 60s, 70s, but every now and then the media and certain political moments provides media attention, but there is no reason to believe a resurgence has occurred. Not that I would be against it. Love it. We need more of we the people protecting each other. I'm also for it. They carry guns for self-defense. What they're doing isn't any different from anyone else doing it. A community is going to police itself, that can be with the police or without. Necessary, fucking good, was my reaction. Black Panthers helped myself and my kid when SNAP was down, and have often been present when I go to places that help lower income. I'm happy to see the present at LGBT+ places as well, which I go often. I'm glad they're helping all my communities. Honestly, I felt relief seeing them. My kid is aware they are helpers, as Mr. Rogers taught us. Beautiful. Exactly the way communities should help take care of each other. Fucking stupid that we didn't do it sooner, and why is it only the Black Panthers? I'm embarrassed we haven't taken this tactic sooner. White tigers, assemble. Wolverines, IYKYK. Lol, I think it would actually be dope as fuck if a bunch of white people formed the White Tigers to do the same thing as the Black Panthers. That would be so cool. If only POCs had their voices listened to decades ago about police and rise in unchecked violence. But they were ignored, and here we are, having to help protect the same folks that kneeled during the anthem and figured that was enough. Kaepernick was mocked by most football fans and banned from the NFL. At least someone is standing up and making an effort to protect people. I don't see our elected officials doing shit. Isn't this what the Second Amendment is for? Thank God for the Black Panther Party. I support it entirely. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. This is a group of good men doing something, and I, as an American, appreciate them taking action so boldly. Why are all of the comments on this posting calling for violence against our government? The fact is, 99% of you will hide under your bed and sheet your pants if violence was the only answer. You wouldn't fight, you would lie down and snivel. So stop talking a big game on the internet. The biggest problem with Reddit is in between the users' keyboards and chairs. At this point Reddit is like 75% foreign bot accounts trying to further divide Americans, 15% psychotic leftists who promote this insane violence, and 10% normal, well-functioning people who understand nuance and have level-headed opinions of what's going on in the world. That last 10% typically just get downvoted to oblivion. If you look at these accounts that make posts and comments like these every single day, they are 9/10 times accounts that are a few months old. The people currently committing violence against fellow citizens en masse aren't leftists. Exactly, my comment is currently being downvoted to oblivion.